What is going on, everybody? I am back today to talk about another film from last year that has been on my radar for quite some time, and I was really looking forward to watching it. For some reason, I just kept forgetting about it. There's been so many movies that I've been putting at the front of my list when it comes to Oscar nominations and things to get around to watch. But this is a movie that I've heard a ton of positive things about, and I really wanted to get around to watching. Finally sat down and checked it out, and the movie I'm going to be talking about with you today is 1001. 1001 is directed by Rockwell. Struggling but unapologetically living on her own terms, Inez is moving from shelter to shelter in mid-1990s New York City. With her 6-year-old son Terry in foster care and unable to leave him again, she kidnaps him so they can build their life together. As the years go by, their family grows and Terry becomes a smart yet quiet teenager. But the secret that has defined their lives threatens to destroy the home they have so improbably built. So as I said, I was really looking forward to watching this movie because I'd heard a ton of positive things about it, and this film is exceptional. Everything about it is just absolutely amazing. And it's honestly upsetting that this movie did not get Oscar recognition because it is incredible. I didn't know a whole lot about it before I went in to watch it, and honestly, I'm happy about that because it really took me by surprise, and I'm excited to tell you some more about it today. So the beginning of the film, we're introduced to Inez, played by Teyana Taylor, who has been going from group home to group home, and we find out shortly after that she has a young 6-year-old son who she has been trying to raise, but because of issues she's having in her life, she doesn't have enough money to get her own place. She hasn't been able to settle down, and so he's in the foster care system. He ends up getting in an accident where he hurts his head, and he goes to the hospital, and she goes to visit him at the hospital multiple times, and he has this conversation with her, and it really ends up hurting her because he's asking, like, do you not want me around? Do you not want to be here with me anymore? And so she, spur of the moment, decides to just take him from the hospital and evade the foster care system. And this is in the 1990s, so technology is nowhere near where it is now. So tracking someone down is going to be a lot harder than it is in 2024 if someone just takes off. And so she takes him and ends up finding this place to stay. And we see the two of them living their lives together while he's 6 years old. Inez ends up dating some people. She ends up getting in a pretty serious relationship with this guy. And then it jumps forward into the future where her son Terry is a teenager. And we also get to see how they interact together when he is a teenager, and he is incredibly intelligent. And the entire film is looking at the relationship between mother and son and all the challenges through this time period that come up for them to keep their family intact. So as I said, I thought this movie was absolutely incredible for a multitude of reasons. For starters, I want to talk about Teyana Taylor's brilliant performance. She is incredible from start to finish in this movie. Just everything about the performance that she has to deliver in this movie is amazing. She has so many moments of quiet solitude where we get to see just the emotion on her face and the variety of situations that occur to her that she has to try to overcome, and just the power in her performance of this mother who is willing to do absolutely anything to take care of her child is just really incredible, and it's powerful and moving, and I was just completely enamored with her performance. Everyone else in this movie does a phenomenal job. There are multiple actors that play her son because it's over a period of time, and all three of them, they do a fantastic job. They really fit the role perfectly. It feels like the passage of time is very naturalistic. It doesn't feel very jarring, and I think it takes a really incredible director to be able to so naturally have that passage of time in a way that doesn't feel jarring to the audience member, and I liked that a lot. This thing is beautifully shot. There's a lot of attention to detail in the placement of the camera, and I feel like for a movie like this, it doesn't necessarily have to have that level of attention to detail, but because it does, it makes the scenes so much more impactful, especially in the moments they choose to do a lot of close-ups. It really helps the film be more impactful. And this movie covers a multitude of topics. For starters, obviously it looks very heavily into the foster care system and how her son is taken into the foster care system and the things about evading the foster care system just so that they can be a family. The film looks really heavily at gentrification, especially in New York City. There's a lot about what's going on in New York at the time period that the film is taking place in. At first, it's when Rudy Giuliani is the mayor, and then it jumps to when Bloomberg becomes the mayor, and we get like the stop and frisk laws that were introduced at that time period that made it harder for black people to just exist in New York, because if a cop thought you were doing something suspicious, they were able to stop you no matter what and see what you were doing. And so there's elements of that in the film, and the gentrification stuff is really powerful, and just the way that the film is shot, and you see elements of the neighborhood transform, businesses just kind of pop up out of nowhere, and then our lead character living in this apartment, eventually the landlord of the apartment is trying to push her out, and you really get the impacts of what a lot of people living in New York City are dealing with in that moment. And then in the third act, you get this big bombshell dropped about the actual family dynamic, and it really opens up this interesting topic about family. And I think, it's something I've talked about on my channel before, but I think it's really interesting, this idea that people have where it's like, if someone is blood to you, that because they're blood, that like you have to appease them in some way, or you have to be there for someone, or on the inverse, if someone isn't a blood relative, that they can't be close family like that. And I think that's totally false. I think family are the people who love you and the people who support you and want to be there for you. And that's what this movie packs a really emotional punch, especially looking at the foster care system and different family dynamics, is that even if you're not related to someone, that doesn't make the power of family and that power of love any less important. And the movie does an amazing job at showcasing that and really packing a heavy emotional punch. It also obviously looks at these people are living in a very low income area, and Terry, the son, is incredibly intelligent, and he's exceeding in school, to where the school he's going to is saying like, hey, we don't want you to be here, we want you to go to another school because you're smarter than this, and we want you to be in an environment where you can completely thrive. But he's afraid of abandoning his friends, he's afraid of going somewhere else differently. How will that impact his relationship with his family? And so there's so many layered ideas that the movie is presenting, but sometimes movies can overdo it when it comes to the themes. And in this movie, it's about 2 hours long, and I feel like every theme that it's exploring gets plenty of time to breathe and gets plenty of time for you as an audience member to understand what's going on and to really think about these things for long after the movie is over. And that's something I really appreciated a lot. And I talked about this recently when I reviewed the A24 film Earth Mama. But I watch a movie like this, which got a limited release in theaters and then it was put out on Prime Video. But it's a film with a predominantly black cast, directed by a black woman, that is so incredibly powerful and emotional and is saying something so important. And Teyana Taylor should have gotten an Oscar nomination for this movie. Her performance is absolutely incredible. Rockwell could have gotten a director nomination because of how well this thing is directed. And I think outside of short films, I think this is her directorial debut, like her first feature-length film. And it is incredible what she was able to accomplish in this movie. And it's what I said in that Earth Mama video. It is so important in film to open up the ability for people of color and marginalized groups of people to have a voice in cinema, to be able to say something incredibly powerful. And we need to support movies like this. People need to watch movies like this. People need to have open dialogue about movies like this. Because someone like myself, I'm a white man, and I want more movies like this. I want more movies that have representation. I want more movies that are teaching me about elements of culture that I don't hear about enough. Because movies like this are eye-opening and beautiful, and they can teach people a lot about what other groups of people are going through in different situations and circumstances than their own. And I just thought this was incredibly beautiful. I thought it was so well made, and I cannot recommend it enough. It is streaming on Prime Video right now, and I implore you, if you did not watch this movie last year, please do. It is amazing. So if you've seen 1001, did you love it? Did you hate it? Leave me a comment down below and let me know what you thought. I thought this movie was incredible, and I'm so happy I finally got around to watching it because it was amazing. As always, if you can like the video and subscribe to the channel, helps me out a lot and lets me know the type of content you're looking for. Always putting out new material, and look forward to getting more out for you in the near future. And as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.